Do you have absolute certainty on how you go from hello to yes on what you're looking for? I watch people get stuck in Frozen, and that breaks my heart. I was once stuck in Frozen too. Greatest superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people.
Let's get some amazing people. Let's go.
Let's go. We have some incredible people here today. Meredith O'Brien is an attorney. Her practice is focused on criminal defense and throughout northern and central Ohio. Ooh. She focuses on hold the phone. Sorry, my there we go. On OVI and DUI defense, violent crimes, sex crimes, misdemeanors, and traffic. She was one of the super lawyer rising stars of 2018, 20, and 21. Meredith believes in defending the rights of citizens against the unfair and sometimes unjust persecution of law enforcement and the government. She's committed to learning advanced forensics, dedicated to effective representation, and is undeterred even when she fails to persuade a trial court or jury with arguments applying the law to the facts. Meredith will always get up the next day and do it all over again, which she is told has been inspirational by her peers. That's absolutely inspirational. Welcome, Meredith.
Thank you.
Hey, Meredith, that's a mouthful. You got a lot of stuff going on there, eh?
Yeah, I do, Sean. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I just started my own practice, so I'm trying to. Thank you. Trying to familiarize myself with good old QuickBooks and everything. So,
how are you feeling, Meredith? Getting it going?
Anxious but excited.
Wow, tremendous. 6 months out of law school, $100,000 in debt from law school, on my credit card, no relationship capital, quit my job at a major law firm, jumped off a cliff, and that's where all this crazy adventure began 24 years ago. So congratulations on your liberation, your entrepreneurship, and your journey about to begin. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. And what's
congratulations.
Yes.
Sorry.
And what is your fun fact?
My fun fact?
Yes.
The last OVI trial I had, the prosecutor submitted his resignation the 15 minutes after the verdict. So I made a prosecutor quit.
Yeah. and what is, just for those that don't know, what is an OVI trial?
An OVI trial, OVI in Ohio stands for operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs or a combination of the two. It used to be called DUI. The statutes changed to OVI. The trial, we asked for a trial. It was a misdemeanor case in Ohio. If you ask for a trial if you demand a trial by jury for a misdemeanor, you get a jury of 8 members of your peers and 2 alternates. And the state has an opportunity to present evidence to prove its case, and the defense has an opportunity to, present witnesses or, cross-examine the state's witnesses, and then counsel for both parties, the state and the defense, are offered opportunities to give, closing arguments, and then the jury deliberates, and there's a verdict, and that's it.
To rock the house, made the prosecutor quit. Extraordinary. Thank you so much for being here, Meredith. Appreciate you, and all the best in your new adventure with your own practice.
Thank you.
Gina, who we got to roll with Meredith?
Next up, we have Randy Carmel. She's a member of the New York State Bar Association and Brooklyn Bar Association, as well as other committees, including family law. She was also voted as one of the New York super lawyers, and she received a Client's Choice Award. Randy's a member of the New York County Women's Bar Association. She specializes in private defense litigation and was deputy general at the Department of Investigation, and prior to that, examining at the Department of Investigation assistant district attorney. She has also appeared on the morning show with Nancy Grace. Welcome, Randy. She also has a hard stop at 4, by the way, Sean.
Randy, how are you?
Good, I'm doing fine, thank you.
All right, I'm hearing crispness and directness and ready to roll in this from Randy. And what is your fun fact?
My fun fact is not as, I didn't make a prosecutor quit, but I did have years ago when I was an actual prosecutor, I had 5 minutes to prep for a trial where I got the file and they said to me, okay, you go. And one of the, a bus driver had hit a little kid in the mouth. It was horrible, but the evidence was a tooth. And I was trying to put the tooth into evidence. And I had to ask this child, is this the tooth? And he said, yes. Is this the whole tooth? Yes. And then the jury said, is this nothing but the tooth? And I didn't realize I should have said, is this the entire tooth? So that would not have happened. But the entire jury decided to sing along. And needless to say, I had 5 minutes to prep for that trial and 3 minutes for them to deliberate and convict the bus driver. But that's my fun fact, which I was not at all even thinking about until I heard Meredith's fun fact. And I said, I'm going to totally go for something that is courtroom, oriented. So
Fun stuff happens in
Made me
courtrooms.
think of something that made me laugh.
It does. So, Randy, I'm hearing your wit and brilliance as well. So thank you so much for being here. And may I share a quick courtroom fun fact?
Please.
Yes.
So I had the unique privilege of having 2 top 100 national jury verdicts and being the only person to do that besides one guy from California and the only person that was blind between 2014 and 16. In the second one of those, the Inspector General of the state of Arizona, its highest ranking law enforcement officer, made the critical error of deciding to have a lobbyist influence him to issue a report in our civil litigation over a business breakup in a $50 million case that said that no fraud was committed by the defendant. And our whole theory of the case was our client was driven out of the company that he owned because he uncovered Medicaid fraud. And so 10 minutes into his cross-examination, the Inspector General from the state of Arizona withdrew his report and concluded, as he was beet red, if not purple, slouching down his chair like this, that yes, in fact, he could not conclude that there was no evidence of fraud. So that was one of the most fun things. And that ended up in $16 million in punitive damages against the other side because they couldn't stand the lawyer so much for having done that. So that is my fun fact for today. It's still the highest jury verdict in the state of Arizona in the last decade. So courtroom justice and truth is present, from twos to corrupt inspector generals and all the rest. So thank you so much, Randy, for being here.
Thank you.
Yes. Gina, we got some judges for these lawyers.
We got some judges. Divya Parekh. She's the founder of Dream Accelerators, a business growth strategist and an authority positioning advisor. She went from dancing in biopharma, emotional chemistry, and neuroscience background to becoming an international best-selling author and entrepreneur. She's worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs, coaches, leaders, consultants from a wide array of industries. And she's been invited as a media influencer to conferences and summits, including sharing the virtual platform with people like Jack Canfield. Her books and strategies have been endorsed by the likes of Brian Tracy, Marshall Goldsmith, Kevin Harrington of the original Shark Tank, and Joe Theismann. She's a Forbes entrepreneur, CEO, contributor, and has authored over 15 books, including Leadership and Influence, Critical Thinking, Candid Critique, Appreciative Inquiry, Emotional Intelligence, and Stress Management, amongst the topics. And she's been featured and published in USA Today, Forbes, iHeartRadio, The Entrepreneur Way, and many other podcasts. Welcome, Divya.
And it's Divya?
Yes, Sharon.
Divya,
Thank
welcome.
you.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here.
You've had some major impact. Like, you're a leader of leaders. Like, that's what's happening here. I feel the presence of that, Divya. Am I like on track?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I feel the presence here on these amazing women and yourself, Sean.
Well, thank you. Like, a couple of days this weekend, one day with all men, one day with all women, like our Unblinded production team. Maybe we can like mix these up some days. But Divya, thank you so much for being here. And what's your fun fact?
My fun fact is that I was speaking, okay, this is right at the time last year when we went completely virtual. So I was supposed to speak to a crowd of, it was supposed to be like 300 people, and the conference got canceled and they moved it virtual. So it was around like 100 folks. And they had StreamYard going on. And what StreamYard did not do is it did not connect my Logitech camera. So instead of looking at camera on my laptop, I was looking at Logitech, and think about it. Here I am as a breaking the conference as a keynote speaker, and I'm looking somewhere else. So that was very hilarious.
Well, that does not sound like a particularly amazing day, but it is fun that you pictured as such. And final question is, what prompted you to move into the space of personal development, acceleration? The quick 20 seconds on that.
To drive impact and create influence all across the world.
Awesome. Well, that's what we're doing here. You're in the right place. Thank you, Divya. And by the way, wait till you meet the sales sorceress, because it's amazing, interesting overlays. Gina, we got some more judges to go with Divya.
We do. We have Judy Sahagian. She's the founder and president of Judy Networks, a full-service real estate events firm catering to the needs of industry professionals.
Oh.
She's the founder of Real Estate Subways, the Real Estate Subway series. It's all about relationships and innovation for Judy. She's aware that 75% of deals are done at the dinner table. She founded and served as executive producer and co-founder of What's Cooking in Real Estate. I love that. During these programs, she hosted industry leaders and real estate celebs in a unique format, discussing marketing trends while preparing meals. And she founded the Real Estate Subway series in 2012 to give companies citywide reach on a local level. And she's led teams that have resulted in successful sales and leasing of luxury real estate. She previously served with the retail group of Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Welcome, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
Hi.
How are you, Judy?
I'm amazing. I'm having the best day ever, TGIF. And I'm so honored to be on this panel with all of you and to hear all of your amazing stories and be able to contribute.
Welcome to the Real Raw. We're like 450 episodes in post-corona. More than 2,000 people have been here. So thank you so much for being here. And what is your fun fact, Judy?
Well, today my fun fact is that my why is why not.
Extraordinary. And may I share a fun fact?
Yes.
That some of the original videos I was shooting a number of years ago were called Why Not? Those are
Why
like
not?
a video series. That's extraordinary. And so, yes. And what makes your day today? You said it's an extraordinary day, other than the fact that you're alive, breathing, you're Judy, your life is amazing. Anything particular happened today that made it such an extraordinary?
Absolutely. I actually put it on a story on my Instagram. So when it hit January 1st this year, being in commercial real estate and all the things, I said, okay, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to start completely over, and I have absolutely no knowledge of stock trading whatsoever. So I downloaded Robinhood and all the apps, and I said, I'm going to take my stimulus check and I'm going to take very little and I'm going to see what I can turn it into. And then I started watching all these YouTube videos and I said, well, I just hit 45 years old. So I said, you know what? I want to start a YouTube channel and document my journey of trying stocks and seeing what I can make happen as someone at home with no other options to look for opportunities, taking the advice of millennial and Generation Zers. So I downloaded Robinhood, I downloaded all these apps, and I got a bunch of free stocks. I got over $500 in free stocks. And one of my stocks that I picked, Zomedica, today went to the moon, hit $2, and I turned $600 into $5,000 in 1 month, and with no knowledge. And it's so exciting. But one thing I didn't realize, I don't know if you all seen what's going on with Wall Street bets and Wall Street right now. And I just randomly decided to go this route. And here I am in the middle of a movement that is so incredible of our time, and watching how these young people are coming together and bringing things forward. I'm like, and I'm sitting here in my basement right now. I'm in my basement in Bushwick.
Awesome. We just got to keep moving for a second, but Reddit on fire.
That's it.
Doing incredible things. Yes, invest in companies going bankrupt, and if the movement of Reddit gets behind it, crazy things happen. So congratulations.
Incredible.
awesome job. Love it. Like Blockbuster and like GameStop. So
AMC, baby.
Yes. Awesome job.
Mhm.
Love Judy. So yes, Gina.
Yes, we got one more judge here with Laura Liss. She's a franchise and business attorney with Liss and Lamar. From starting as a restaurant assistant manager in college to now advising individuals who own restaurants, Laura reads the fine print for business owners and entrepreneurs in all industries so they don't have to. She started her practice in Denver, and since 2018 now practices in both Denver and Chicago. She has also been Super Lawyer's Rising Star Award winner in 2018, 19, 20, and 21, and is a frequent speaker on business and franchise topics. She's deeply involved in professional leadership and community groups, ranging from those targeting the business and franchise community to advising nonprofits. She chairs the Informed Inclusion Book Club, amplifying DEI causes for the Exit Planning Exchange, a national network of leading business advisors and intermediaries, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah, Laura, thanks so much for being here today. How about a fun fact from you?
Fun fact, let's see. So I love to travel. I haven't been doing much of that lately with COVID, but in 2018, I was able to actually go to Cuba. And so I went to Cuba and I got to ride around in Havana in the back of a Model T car that had been all like spray painted and done up neon. And so it was a really cool way to see the city.
That is awesome. And how was it?
It was amazing. It was a perfect day. Even we got rained on a little bit, and even that was nice because it had gotten kind of hot. So everything was good.
And Laura, I want to hear like Exit Exchange. Is that like you supporting businesses getting like prepared to build, retain equity, and then exit from there? Is that some of the work that you do?
It is, yeah. So I help people who want to buy and sell businesses. I help people who have existing businesses and are looking to create franchise concepts as a way to grow. So typically retail and service businesses, and everything in between. So a lot of commercial leasing, trademark protection, you name it, we're probably doing it unless it's employment law or tax.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate you. And Gina, we got a role player. We got the role player of role players. Yes.
We might not today, Sean. I think if it's okay, it looks like it might be me. If you're cool with that, our beautiful Bella. I'm not sure. So.
Yes, then let's rock and roll. So let's jump in.
So let's drop in. Can I just like say thank you for all that you're doing to help people unpack influence as a superpower in this like hotbed of talent with this
Yes,
these
but let's-
incredible people? Let's like go. Wanna go?
Yes.
Let's drive.
Who's going
Okay.
first?
All right, let's go with Randy first.
Okay. Randy, Gina could be anybody you want her to be. She could be herself, an ideal client avatar. And the whole concept is going from hello to yes with her. It doesn't have to be Boiler Room meets Wolf of Wall Street, but just how you go from hello to yes.
So I'm sorry, I could be myself or an ideal client?
No, you are yourself. Gina can
Gina.
play an ideal client, or she could be herself, whomever you'd like her to be.
Okay.
All right. So who would you like her to be?
I'd like her to be the ideal client because I don't know what that is.
So
I know where it is saying, we think we know what this is, but we do not. So I'd like you to be the ideal client because I will pay you. You do not have to pay me for services if I found that.
please drop. Please drop. Yes, take us in, Gina.
Okay, so Randy, when you're ready, we'll go ring ring.
Hi, this is Randy. How can I help you?
Hi, Randy. I'm thinking about divorce, and it's been a long road. And I heard you are one of the main people in like New York to go to.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. My first question for you is, can I just have your full name?
Yes, Gina Ritchie.
And can I have, is this a divorce action? Are you thinking of a divorce?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Can I have your spouse's name?
Yes, Henry.
Okay. And is it the same or a different last name? I just need to do a conflict check.
It's different.
What is his last name?
Walsh.
Okay. Okay, I see that there's no conflict. So let me just ask you a couple questions. Is this a case, does he know that you are looking to divorce? Does he want a divorce? Has there been a conversation?
It's been an ongoing, let's say, sort of threatening threat type thing. Like it might happen. This is probably going to happen. Maybe not. Let's try to save it, kind of thing.
So the D word has been out there. The divorce word has been mulling about. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any children?
We do.
Okay.
Yes.
How many and their ages?
We have 3. Well, we have 3. One is in her 20s. One is 23. One is 16, and one in the middle passed away when she was a little girl. But I still will always forever say I have 3 children.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. And yes, I can understand. And we will always keep that with us that you do have 3 children. That is correct. So the one who is under 21, that is a child who we would have to talk about residential, where that child will go. Is it a girl or a boy?
Boy.
So where he would primarily reside, would it be 50-50? And when we talk about that, we also talk about child support. So that will be, do you think that there's going to be an issue as to the access schedule with your husband? Do you think there's any issues there?
Possibly.
Okay.
High conflict.
Okay, we'll certainly speak about that and what your child wishes, because that will be a part of this, is what your child wants. It's not determinative. And then we'll talk about the finances. We'll talk about support, whether you make more than your husband, whether your husband earns more than you, whether there's going to be, we call it maintenance, but the old word is alimony, and then equitable distribution in terms of what the assets and liabilities are. And in a nutshell, that is the entire process. That's everything other than attorney's fees, which we will also talk about who and how those are paid. And then we can set up a meeting to talk about all of them.
Hey, Jean, you got a quick phone call.
You.
You can bounce back to Randy in a couple minutes.
Okay. Thanks, Randy. We'll take this up later. Appreciate it.
Right. Randy, excellent work. How'd that feel for you?
Natural.
Was it a real client?
It felt natural. It's, trying to set somebody up for an interview, but having them feel comfortable with me, having them know I'm doing the right thing, looking if there's a conflict, talking about the most important thing, which are the children. That's always the most important. And then just going into the big areas that we will hopefully eventually discuss. So that's like the overall table of contents of what a consultation would look like.
Yeah, awesome. Excellent work. So Meredith, are you ready?
I am.
Who would you like Gina to be, please?
Potential client or ideal client.
We're still finding that.
Yeah.
And what would her issues be?
You could do it. She could do charge with OBI. I mean, whatever.
I can try that.
Yeah, whatever you want.
You know what?
I could do any criminal. I can do any. I can do traffic offense to murder. Whatever you want.
We got it. So because Gina used
Not
to wear
murder.
a black
Do
leather
murder.
jacket, red high heels, hiked up Catholic school skirt, because that was like Gina back in the day. And that's why Bruce Springsteen like chases her around the beach club in New Jersey. But that's a fun fact for Unblinded After Dark. So Gina, you're partying like crazy. Big problems emerged, and Meredith is ready to talk to you. So please.
All righty. Let's go. Ring, ring.
This is Meredith O'Brien.
Oh, hi, Meredith. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How can I help you?
I'm in a bit of trouble. I had way too many drinks and got myself into a pretty decent accident. I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Yeah, I need some help.
I understand. All right. Okay. So what's your full name?
Gina Ritchie.
Okay. And Gina, are you employed?
No, I'm a homemaker.
Okay. But do you operate you operate a motor vehicle on a regular basis? Like you have children that you have to take to school?
Drive kids around, drive other people's kids around. I've gotten myself in a big pickle here.
Okay. What was the date of your arrest? Were you arrested, Gina?
Yes.
Okay. What was the date of your arrest?
June 7th.
Okay. Do you remember the name? Do you remember the law enforcement agency that arrested you? Was it a trooper? Where did this happen? Let's start there.
A small town in New Jersey. We're here at Seabright.
Okay. Was it Seabright local police, or was it a state trooper? The police? Okay. All right. Do you happen to remember the name of the arresting officer?
I think it was like Donaldson or something like. I think it was pretty close to that, Sergeant
Okay.
Donaldson.
All right. What time approximately were you pulled over?
It was like 2 a.m.
Okay. And you said there was an accident?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a single car or multi-car accident? Like, did you hit something, or was there another, did you hit like a utility pole or a curb or something, or did you hit another car?
I did hit another car.
Okay. All right, let's go back a second. How old are you, Gina?
I'm 27.
Okay. And do you have any prior alcohol-related traffic offenses?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
When you were arrested, were you taken to the police station and asked to submit to a chemical test, like a breathalyzer or, urine or blood?
Yes.
Okay.
Gina, what's going on? This happened again?
I know.
This happened again? Like, when are you going to stop drinking and driving? What is going on? I'm sorry, ma'am. We're going to have to have Gina take a quick pause. No. So Meredith, awesome job. How was that for you?
It was good. I usually, I hate looking at myself on Zoom. I feel like I'm more natural when I take these calls on the phone, and people are usually really, really, it's interesting because people are always really, really terrified when they get an OBI. And at the end of the day, I'm always kind of like, look, man, like this is Gina's first offense. I'm like, look, this is a souped up traffic ticket. At the end of the day, there's some mandatory minimum penalties we got to talk about. But at the end of the day, this is a traffic ticket. Nobody died. You're going to be okay. Like the people who call me where they're like, oh, I'm charged with rape of a 9-year-old. And like, they're kind of like, whatever. Like people who get OBIs are really, really stressed out, like all the time.
Gina,
I should have been more stressed out.
You are super stressed out. Gina, come on. All right. So Laura, what do you got? Let's go with our amazing judges. 30 seconds of feedback. Gina's going to be the official timekeeper. 30 seconds of feedback. Like what went well, what could be optimized, and what we're assessing is
For both of them?
the depth of connection. Yeah, we'll start with one at a time. And the depth of connection, kind of something put at stake, because it's going to be a second round, though, where these interactions are completed for the second 3 minutes, right? So let us start with whichever way you want to go, Laura.
Sure. I'll start with Randy, and then we'll move to Meredith.
Awesome.
I think, one thing that goes through both of your clients is that they're both calling you at a point where they're usually very stressed, right? Especially in the time of the sample, client interaction that you had there. What I think there was an opportunity to do is to have a little bit more of an emotional connection, and really, you don't want to like become the therapist, obviously. I'm sure that's a risk, especially for you, Randy, that people just kind of can talk your ear off. But at the same time, I think that when a client is, making a decision that they're going to have to, spend a lot of money on, and they're going to have to, really trust that the attorney is going to get it done for them, right? They have to feel like there is that emotional connection. When people make those kind of decisions from that place, they have to have a good feeling, like a warm feeling. And what I could tell is that, you were asking all of the right questions. I liked that you did your conflicts check, but I think there was more, opportunity there to be, just to have like, the voice of sympathy, like, oh, I'm really sorry. I know this must be really hard. You've been going back and forth about it. The C word has been used. So I think that would be my main feedback. And then should I keep going?
Yeah, your score. Yeah, your score is on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would say 7.5.
Nice. Okay, and what'd you have for Meredith, please?
Sure. Similar feedback. I think, like you said at the end, your typical OVI client, prospective client, they're super stressed out because this is probably not something that usually happens to them, right? So they're, a good person. They need to be reassured. They need to feel like you have that, professional success track record. They may or may not have looked at your website. So I think, as much as you're doing intake, you also have to weave in your story. So,
Thank you.
and have that emotional connection too.
Cool.
And your score is?
7.8.
Nice. Thank you very much. Excellent work. And let's go to Divya. What did you have for Meredith?
So, Meredith, first of all, I want to share that you were aware of your discomfort, and that's really critical. Talking about, what went well. You were leaning into it, even though it's Zoom. Usually, when you're speaking to someone, they will look at your face. So, that leaning into was really good. And what could have gone better is that just kind of setting an expectation. I'm just building upon what Laura mentioned about that emotional connection. It is very, very critical because they are at a place where they're worried. They don't see any way out, and you are the person who's going to get them and through the other end and show them that light at the end of the tunnel. So the key is that even if you can just kind of set up expectations at the beginning of a call, that it's great that you call me, and you could even say something like that. This is a safe space. Having helped, so as Laura was talking about weaving in your story, having helped whatever number of people go through it, I understand. So just setting that premise in a little bit, and that's a similar.
And your score?
Score would be for Meredith, I would say 7.5.
7.5. Thank you.
Nice.
And for Randy, I would say similar thing, setting up expectations that what we will be talking today, after doing an effort, making an effort to sharing with them, this is a safe space, you can be yourself, especially divorce. It's a very, very, it's a complete different situation from OVI. Here, children are going, maybe involved, may not be involved. So you ask great questions. I'm not a lawyer, so I can speak to the sequence of questions, bringing that up front. You did mention about children later down, but bringing that up front, forming that emotional connection and giving them the context that what you'll be doing today. And at the end of the call, you will be setting up that consultation. And again, sharing your cases that I have been through this. I've partnered with people through their journeys, and we have come out okay. So you cannot promise anything, and yet you can share experience.
And your score?
I cannot promise anything, that I could tell you.
8.
8. All right.
Thank you. And Judy, what'd you have?
Okay, so with both ladies, some of the things that I think that on both, since 30 seconds, I'm gonna relate to both because both was missing this. I think when you take the phone call, it's important to get a background of the people who are calling you, how they heard about you, so that you can create some type of rapport, like were they referred by a friend, a past client, social media, marketing, so that you can understand where they're coming from. And then I think it's also very important, your tone and creating a rapport where hearing their story first before going into a whole bunch of questions for someone, as the other judges said, is very vulnerable at the moment, and they're raw at that. So I think it's important to check your tone, know where they're coming from, create rapport, and then go into the questioning and then giving value of how you can help them.
Excellent. And your score?
I would give both ladies 7.5.
Nice. Excellent work. So switch around this round. Randy, are you ready to, actually no, Meredith, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so Gina is back. Gina, you were not drinking during that break, were you?
I was not drinking during that break, just smoking and toking. No, I'm kidding.
So
Just shooting up, don't look at her arm.
Don't look at my arm, yeah.
Take us in.
So
you can just call me. So yeah, ring, ring.
Okay, I'm calling you like
yeah,
back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hi, is this Gina?
Yes.
Hi, it's Meredith O'Brien calling you back.
Hi, Meredith.
Hi. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Did you have some questions about OVI?
I think I was in complete shock, before, and I'm like super,
Oh,
What's
okay.
gonna happen to me? Like, what's gonna happen to me?
Okay. I
I'm
know, I understand.
super scared. I'm just
So,
scared.
yeah, so let me just, okay. So broad strokes here. What you're really looking at, it's a misdemeanor. What you've been charged with is technically a traffic misdemeanor. It's punishable by it's a misdemeanor of the first degree. It's punishable by up to 6 months in jail, with a minimum of 3 days in jail if you pled to the OVI offense as it's charged. No one was hurt in the accident. That's good. At the end of the day, Gina, I want to tell you that, this happens to anybody. I tell all my clients, anybody can get a first offense OVI. People are mischarged with OVI all the time. There are two common sort of plea deals or reductions, to OVI offenses. One is a reckless operation of a motor vehicle. The other is a physical control of a motor vehicle. And we can kind of talk about the differences, that those, if you were seeking a plea in this case, the differences that those pleas or those convictions would have consequentially on your license or, in a court of law. But given the fact that you're 27 years old, you have no prior offenses, it has been my experience that, depending on what the evidence looks like, and I don't know that yet, and I won't know until I do what's called, file a notice of appearance with the court saying that I'm representing you, demand the state to provide the discovery. That basically just means that I say to them, you've got to give me everything that you have, that you intend or could present, or anything exculpatory, meaning anything in your favor, against my client. But given the circumstances of the case, usually a first offense, we can try to work out something that's not an OVI for you, if that's where you want to go with it. Obviously, there's still the option that you could take your case to trial, and we'll talk about what that would look like as well, because you probably have no prior criminal record, right? Like, do you have any experience in the criminal system at all?
No.
Okay. So basically, a complaint's been filed against you by, law enforcement or a prosecutor. And the court now has jurisdiction to basically bring you into court to make you answer the complaint. It begins with an arraignment where I go with you and we're going to say not guilty. She's not guilty of all the counts in the complaint or indictment, whatever charged against her. We're going to ask that, you're out on bond, and that's good. The court within its jurisdiction can issue,
Gina, the police are at the door again. Gina, the police are at the door again. What is happening? Are you on the phone with an attorney?
I am on the phone with an attorney right now.
Well, tell her the police are at the door again. This is crazy.
Tell them that you do not want to talk to them without an attorney present. You invoke your Fifth Amendment right now. And tell them my name and tell them to call me.
They bursted in already. They already bursted in.
Ask them if they have a warrant and ask them to read it to you.
Meredith, excellent work. Great. Thank you. All right. So Randy, you ready to go round two?
I am ready to go. I'm assuming that I've already spoken to her and this is my second call with her.
Yeah, it's a continuation of the first call.
Sorry, yeah, I missed that too.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Going second makes it easier.
Yeah. Awesome. Take us in, Randy, please.
Okay. Hi, Gina. This is Randy Carmel again. How are you?
Hi, Randy. I'm doing all right. Okay, thanks. Kind of freaked out about all this, but
that is totally understandable. And we deal with this every single day. So if you have any questions, they're not silly. They're not anything other than what we do every single day. And we are very aware at my firm of how stressful this could be, how confusing, and how tough it can be for you. Okay, so please feel free to ask any question that you would like. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any questions right now? Because I know I have some follow-up questions, but I want to answer your questions first.
I don't even know where to start. So go ahead. Just help me. Just guide me. I don't know. I'm in a deer in the headlights with this. I'm scared.
And a lot of people feel that way. So it is totally understandable. And feel free, if I'm saying something and you remember a question or you want to just, say it. I don't stand on ceremony. You can interrupt anytime. Okay.
Thank you.
So you did tell me that there may be some conflict when it comes to, your child and being able to go to maybe both homes. So I just want to give you a little broad definition of custody, right? One thing is there's legal custody, which is decision making. So how you make decisions, and you'll let me know if you can make decisions together, if somebody needs to be the final decision maker. And then there's the residential. And that is really what we now call parenting time. So you'll have certain parenting time and your spouse will have certain parenting time. But what we like to do is talk about, are there any issues? Does your son have any issues spending time with you maybe during the week? Does he have those issues, or do you have issues? Maybe the father doesn't do homework. So we want to talk about what's in the best interest of your son.
Okay, well, we need like a week for that at least.
And that's fine, because a caring parent knows a lot about their child. So I expect us to talk a lot about what is in your son's best interest. If he has any special needs that we would need to know about, we would need to address that also. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
So that's the overall pattern of what we discussed in terms of your child is residential, the access schedule, and also decision making. Do you think that there would be any difficulty with the both of you making decisions about medical, about school?
Probably. There's
think that there would be
probably. I think that's also a bit of a longer conversation, but yeah, some
we can
some
set
things.
that up, and that's fine. I do want to let you know that there are many ways to deal with decisions, parenting coordinators, people to help. So there's a whole bunch of things that we can talk about to make that process easier for the both of you.
Okay, great. Well, I have to go now. Can we reschedule?
Absolutely. And you can, if you want, we could email, or you can tell me now what your availability is for next week, and I can try to work around your schedule.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So great job. So Randy, excellent. How'd that feel for you?
Again, good. That's what I do. I try to incorporate though what Judy, Laura, and Divya had said. I took it to heart. So I'm hoping that it made a little bit of a difference.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your courage and vulnerability in being here, first of all. And second, Meredith, would it be cool if we did a little role play together?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're looking to build your practice right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I am. My goal is to not get myself on these assignment lists because I don't want to do that. So I want to do this.
Yeah. With complete humility, just factually, I had no relationship capital whatsoever in the world, didn't know anybody. And I started to learn some things that were mind numbing. And I was 27 years old, scared out of my mind, had not a penny in the bank. And what I learned was that lawyers do not, I'm not like this company notwithstanding, do not have any concept of how to build and accelerate business. And it was incredible. I read a book called Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. I read another book by Jay Abraham called Success Secrets of the Marketing Genius. I read a third book by Jerry Spence called How to Argue Win Every Time. I read a fourth book called How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking. And I distilled that information together, and I built a 40-person law firm with no money, no capital, no paid advertising in 2 years. And so I'd love to give a little access to that for now in a quick role play. How does that sound?
Great.
Yep. Okay. So how about this? Instead of it being like for a case, what if we go with who would be a potential alliance partner for you? So who do you think would be an excellent source of potential business for you ongoingly? And I get, since it's in the criminal space, that's a little bit more complex. But anybody come to mind, like who would be an avatar for you that would be an optimal person from whom you could see yourself generating work consistently?
I'm still looking into the professional rules about this, but it's honestly going to be like bail bondsman or something. I don't really know. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What about like other lawyers, like family law attorneys?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I refer business.
All the
My
time.
clients, sadly, get arrested.
Okay.
Want somebody arrested. So family law and matrimonial lawyers, Laura, you are 100% right. They are a great resource.
All live hand in hand, because frankly, that's usually one of the big reasons people are getting divorced.
It's either a homicide or a divorce. I hate to say it, and I'm not making light of it. So matrimonial and family law attorneys, Laura, you are 100% right. I have a network of criminal defense attorneys. that I call for different things. Some people specialize in different kind of areas. So that, if you don't mind me helping, was, really is a great in for you, because they always say the two areas of the law that are most emotional and where there's the most grievances, right, is criminal and matrimonial family, because they blame their lawyers rather than themselves, right? So it's emotional, it's whatever, but they're all in the same realm.
And I worked at a private, and I've been a public defender twice in private practice, but one of the private practice, they said divorce and DUI go right, like literally go hand in hand.
So ready, but the question is, right? The question is, how can you create a relationship where you are seen as preeminent in the area? And there's a distinction between a referral relationship and an ecosystem merger. An ecosystem merger is where you have a sustained amount of contact, relational contact, with avatars, plural, that will be the right optimal people. And so I'm just like saying this very candidly. I built a 40-person law firm and sold it in 4 years. I built a 125-person law firm and went from 0 to 100 people in 2 years. No investment capital put in. And so the acquisition of relationship capital is the name of the game. And so how about this? You will be somebody who runs your county family law division,
Okay.
and organization, right? Or the bar association, or a group of, let's say, either overall family law attorneys that's organized for the purposes of networking. Is that fair? Or the bar association? Okay. Ready. So, hi, Meredith. How are you?
I'm good. Sean, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks so much, by the way. I know you only have 3 minutes. I'm super appreciative for you taking the phone call during this time. I know things are crazy. How are things going for you guys during COVID? I know courts have been closed. Things haven't been kind of moving, shaking. Like, what's there?
Yeah, everything's been the pace is a little different. We're doing a lot via Zoom. We're dealing with, hearings and clients, accessibility to the courts, and, it's going okay, but I've seen a big drive in criminal cases coming, sort of companion criminal cases in the domestic cases that my organization is basically representing to me that they're seeing.
Awesome. And can I ask this, Meredith? Mm-hmm. So present to that, why are you doing this? So I know lots of different folks lead organizations for different reasons. Like, what's your drive? What's your why?
I'm leading the organization because I truly believe in its mission, and I want to basically, I want to be a part of an organization that helps, families during difficult times and they do it with integrity. So, we're really big on the model rules of professional conduct and sort of, there's a range of sort of family law attorneys insofar as, I've heard family law attorneys be accused of, sort of just taking clients' money and not really and I'm not speaking anything for Randy here at all, but just like, they've got to they've got to understand and represent to the court the best interests of the children. And then also, advocate for their client, as far as, legal custody or.
Yeah. So I'm hearing huge mission driven restoration of like integrity in the system, adherence to rules, helping of people. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes.
That's awesome. And so with your organization, I think, and I know we have like about a minute left max, with your organization, what I'm present to is so often attorneys who are well-intentioned, well-meaning, suffer the challenges of growing their business. And they come to organizations like yours to connect, to meet each other, to hopefully figure out ways to grow business. And I think organizations like this family law division often, have like revenue challenges, number one. But number two, they're also looking often for more members, and mostly what drives the first two, I think, is more engagement. And is that where you guys are? Are you looking to grow and sort of energize the group? I know it's COVID. Is that present for you?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I definitely very much personally believe in strength in numbers, and we are absolutely always trying to grow the organization. We're a nonprofit. We just, our membership, and our CLEs basically pay for the organization to exist, and the organization has one employee, and that's the executive director. So yes, but the more attorneys we can get on board with into the organization, the better for everybody, and really the better for the practice of law.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. In the last 20 seconds we have, can I share a little bit about myself and see if it makes sense to have a longer meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think you need another attorney saying, hey, I can come talk to your members to solicit business. I'm like really confident that's what you do not need. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So
I need to go because I have my court call with the court.
yes, thank you, Randy, for being here. Really appreciate it.
Randy.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. I'm sorry that I have 30 seconds, but I am looking and I am being summoned.
No. Go, please.
Thank you, Randy.
Round, I
Thanks
give
for
you
everybody's help.
Circulate the contact info. Thank you. So yeah, I don't think you need that. And I always think, Meredith, of just value adding. And so my value add as a speaker, if your organization looking for engagement, is to inject hope, life, fun, acceleration. And I studied processes not only of law, but of really thinking about how do we grow together? How do we build things together? So yeah, I'll sprinkle in a little bit of criminal law for sure, but my message is one of hope and acceleration. And I just made the courageous step of starting my own practice. I'm studying and different things about business development. I'd love to bring that to the group. And here's what I would, we're out of time. My request would be that we have about a 15-minute conversation, explore a little bit more the needs of the group, and see if there might be a synergy and fit between us. How does that sound to you?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Sounds great.
So how did that feel for you, Meredith?
It was good. I mean, I'm not, I actually am the president of the Ohio Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. So I've kind of had similar conversations like this, but you did it really well. I mean, I want to talk to you.
And by the way, so thank you for that, Meredith.
Yes.
And just like the simplicity of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Is my mission, our mission, and we'll go to the judges in a second and wrap up at Unblinded, is integrity-based human influence. And how do we deal with the fact that we're so overloaded with messaging?
Oh my God, media. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's our mission. And that's why I had the privilege. I speak on Tony Robbins' stage. I appear on national television. I have built this. There's no ego. I was an introvert. I ate lunch by myself in college, my second semester, sophomore year. Like I failed freshman high school geometry for the year. So like, how does this happen? It happens because there's a science of how humans integrously relate to each other. And like final, we had a $0 offer going into both of the top 100 jury verdicts. In both cases, we were dealing with forces that were completely lying about everything, negative vibrational. And when you bring truth and light and fun and understand the science of like when a twig snaps, a deer like puts their head or runs, that's how we are as humans when we think we're being sold something. So how do we reveal truth to people that, Meredith, you're amazing and people should be hiring you? So how do we reveal who you are without people getting scared that they're a deer that's going to get eaten? Right. These are primal dynamics. So thank you for the time today, but that's the conversation. And it just
thank you so much. This was awesome. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Let's get to the judges for a second, a little bit of feedback from Meredith. So let's go reverse order, or Judy, what do you have?
Yes. So in listening to your second round, what I would suggest is that I see you're coming from a very analytical space, and being a Toastmaster myself, I would become a little more conscious on the word when you're saying in between everything. It shows uncertainty, and I feel like you overspoke. You were giving way too much information instead of it being conversational. I would limit it to like 3 points and then say, let me email you the outline of everything else where they could digest that information in their own time of how they feel comfortable, and make the conversation more conversational and let them ask you questions.
Awesome. And Judy, what was your score?
I would still say a 7.5.
Awesome. And Judy, thank you so much for being here and for
Thank
your
you for
awesome
having
shares
me.
and for your Toastmasterness, which means you spend a lot of intentional time, or at least some intentional time, on your speaking, which in fact is the most powerful and effective way to share messaging. So it's been an honor. And how was your day on the Real Raw today?
Oh, it was great. This is my second time, and so far, every experience has been wonderful, and I look forward to having more.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Divya.
Thank you for your feedback, Judy. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, and good luck.
Yes.
I can't imagine the types of calls and cases that you get on a day-to-day basis, and that could be very hard, to hold space for these people. So I congratulate you, on working towards making yourself better.
Amen. And the courage to start your own practice. One of the scariest things a human being can possibly do is start their own business of any type, including a law practice. So extraordinary, Meredith. And Divya, what'd you have for Meredith? And again, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And Meredith, I want to share that you shared initially that you are not comfortable being on Zoom. So one of the things you could probably do is talk with the client and say that, would you be open to having a conversation over the phone? So as you start out and as you're starting out your practice, one of the powerful things that I found is asking for permission, and I'll share with you. It is scary starting your business because I've been that route too. 95% of the time, people will say yes. And I could see that you are not in your element, and it's very critical for you to project confidence. And I agree with whatever Judy mentioned, just adding a couple of points on top of that. Is somebody's coming who is hurt, somebody is coming who is emotionally raw, and they need to feel that confidence from you that, yes, this is the person I can go with. They got my back.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things,
Divya? Oh, sorry.
So one of the things I just wanted to share is one of the techniques that you can use is a mirroring technique. As people are sharing their things with you, just repeat it back to them, and that will make them at ease very rapidly. That's a very quick way of putting people at ease. And I would still place her at 7.5.
Nice. Well, Divya, thank you so much for being here. And how was your day today on the Real Raw?
Oh, I loved it. This is just so powerful. Sean, you guys are doing an amazing job. And Gina was just right in the moment. She jumped in and she was there. And I loved listening to all these powerful women, especially each and every one of them.
Well, thank you.
Putting, Meredith and Randy put themselves out there, as you said, that vulnerability and courage.
And such beautiful feedback. Thank you, Divya. Thank you. And Laura, as we take it home, yes.
Oh, Laura had to jump, Sean. She had a hard stop too. She quietly said, thank you so much. Yes.
Okay.
Had a great time.
So thank you, everybody. And by the way, we are super appreciative for you being here. And this is Unblinded, and this is the beginning, potentially. It might be the end of our journey. If it is, let's remember that influence is a superpower. Hopefully it's the beginning. We're on Clubhouse now every day from 9 a.m. to 9:30. And we are standing for having the most powerful space in Clubhouse to talk about the geometry of business growth and development in very unique and powerful ways. Number one. And number two, every Monday night we do What is Unblinded and Why Real Raw? Like, what is all this? And how is this contributed to being as fast growing as anything in personal development in America? We are at Unblinded. And this was starting a pandemic with no live events, which, forget us, who cares? But how do you replicate that to get the money, time, and magic you want? That's what we stand for. We're super duper thankful. Hope to talk to you soon. And Gina, we're all blind.
Just learning to see.
All right. Again, thank you so much, Vivi. Thank you, Meredith, for sure. And
thank you guys so much.
Can I say, since
you.
it's February, you need to throw in for this month, Love is Blind at Unblinded.
Well, thank you. Love is blind. Thank you. Have a beautiful.
Come join us at Clubhouse. We hope to see you all.